Welcome to this episode of my Women Empowerment Wednesday show. My name is Jessica DSB. Enjoy this episode.
Happy Wednesday! It's Jessica on our Women Empowerment Wednesday show. Welcome everybody that is joining us today. For those that do not know me, Jessica, world passionate traveler. I'm a coach. I'm a #1 best-selling international author. I am so excited to be with all of you, and I do have to say proud single mom as well. So I'm excited to be with all of you this Wednesday with our super awesome special guest. I'm super excited about a conversation that we're gonna have today. Mrs. Alicia Grant. So who she is the co-founder of the Matrix Legacy. She is a wealth coach as well as entrepreneur. She is working on multiple projects. She is somebody that I've been inspired day one that I met her. Her and her husband. Shout out to Mr. Tyler Grant, his birthday today. Happy birthday, Tyler. Can't wait to see you guys in person again after this whole COVID thing. But thank you, Mrs. Olisya Grant, to join me today as our special guest.
Yes, thank you for having me. Let's just start there. This is such a phenomenal platform. And when I got the call to say, hey, do you want to be featured? I said, absolutely. This is such an important movement because a lot of times we hear the stereotypes of women competing, but it's really in collaboration, regardless of gender or anything, but collaboration is where we find the most success. So the fact that you're bringing all these powerhouses together in one space just to show people, like, we can do this together. You don't have to do it by yourself. I'm absolutely honored to be.
I love this. Thank you. And yes, for those that are maybe just joining this week, just a reminder what's been happening. So in April, me and Jamie Yamanaka started this Women Empowerment Wednesday Facebook Live as the whole COVID was starting. And we wanted to add some inspiring, touching, empowering conversations every week with special guests. And this movement was not only about us having those conversations on these Facebook Lives every week with our guests, but also to bring those conversations in your homes, with your family, with your friends. So I continued this movement past April every single week with special guests. It's been such fun, so empowering. Every single week, like after this call, it's like I drank like 10 coffees. I get so empowered. So I really hope that everybody that's watching this gets the same feeling and brings that empowerment in their homes, in their friends, in their families, in their businesses, wherever you're bringing them. So comment in the section, what do you like best so far? What would you like to hear in the next few weeks? And let's hear from you, Alicia. For those that do not know you, tell us a bit more about you.
Okay, sure. You gave me such a beautiful intro. For those who don't know me, I am a wealth coach. I'm an entrepreneur. I actually recently just left a full-time corporate position. I was working for a big company in human resources, and you know, it was a great job. You got all the bells and whistles and all of the perks, but it wasn't speaking to who I am. And every time I would sit there in that office, I would be thinking of how much other things I could be doing and what I would love to be doing more, and how exactly how you said, that energy that you feel after you get off of a call with somebody, or when you walk away from doing something that you loved doing, that was the feeling that I wanted. And so last month I took the jump, and people are like, who quits their job in the middle of a pandemic? And so all of these titles are great, entrepreneur, wealth coach, all of that. But at the end of the day, I'm just a woman with a big dream who decided to chase it. And so really that's my mission now, just to empower other people who have that vision, who have maybe a passion or a business or something that they want to build, but there's some kind of block, something in the way that says you can't have that because you got to pay the bills, or you can't have that because it's not what your parents said to do, or you can't have that because you're not enough. And so I really like to break through those barriers and teach people how to build wealth into their life so that they know whatever vision is placed in their mind was put there for a reason, because they're supposed to go and get it. And I can't teach people to do that if I don't do it myself. And so that's really why I took the jump. And that's essentially why I'm here on this call with you today. So
oh my God. I like literally when you told me that day that you were doing that big jump, I'm just like, I was like, wow. I know a lot, and we talked about this. I know a lot of people will never take that jump in their whole life. And so I'm hoping today that we can inspire at least one person to take that jump, right? That there's always going to be that fear. And I reminded the viewers a few weeks ago when I started this women empowerment show, I'm like, oh my God, can I do this? And I continued doing it, and that fear is somewhat still there every week, but it's not the same anymore, right? Because I'm focused.
Yeah, there's so much alignment on that. I just put a post up today that said, I think I said, it's scary or it's always hard until it's easy. And so we're always scared to do something until it's done. I was the same as you. I have a podcast called the Legacy Podcast. And I was sitting on it for months on months, just in my own head, like, oh my gosh, can I do this? Who am I to speak? Who am I to put out a podcast? Is it okay if I do this in the position that I'm in my job? And all of these voices and conversations in my head that had nothing to do with the fact that I had a message to share with people who needed to hear that message. And so once I changed that around from I'm scared, I'm not ready, should I, can I, into who can actually benefit from this, then it was kind of like, okay, now I can make this work. And then in a matter of like 7 days, I was able to put together an entire podcast. And now I'm like 18, 19 episodes in, looking back thinking, why in the world did I wait so long? And because we're so busy in our heads worrying about what's going to happen instead of actually find out what happens, you know?
Oh my God. And it's like, I haven't listened to all of them, but like I see those little clips and your posts, and it's just like, wow. Like if you want incredible content, go follow her. So you're building your podcast, you're building your international online business as an entrepreneur. You guys are also building your wealth coaching. I'm so excited for you. So tell us, let me start with this. So we, after our discussion, we wanted to share the topic today about turning your passion into profit, right? So let me hear from you what you have to share about this.
Okay. So about 2.5 years ago, I kind of accidentally ran into a mentor, a phenomenal mentor who you actually had on this call, Mr. Byron Nelson. And it really just opened up my mind to realize that there's so many things in life that you can't learn in school, but we're so conditioned to think that everything that you need is in a degree, but it's really not. And so just from mentorship and being surrounded by people who were already living out their dreams, who were already running towards their goals, I started hearing little terms and things that I didn't know about, things like residual income, things like diversifying and understanding the stock market and understanding real estate and all of these little things. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a different language. And I just became obsessed with really trying to understand, like, what is it that the wealthiest people in the world know that the people who are not as fortunate or not as wealthy, what's the discrepancy? What's missing? And what really kind of woke me up was with my parents. My parents are phenomenal people. I love them to the moon and back. Phenomenal individuals, work really hard, but somehow they still couldn't get ahead financially. And I was like, I can't do this paycheck to paycheck thing. There has to be something that I'm missing. And so, as I said, just going out, putting myself out there, learning more information, I just fell in love with the idea of understanding that wealth is a mindset and money is really just a byproduct of who you're being. A lot of people think, oh, it takes money to make money, but that's not true. It takes value. You have to become so valuable that money is just going to come to you by default. And so that's really what we built the foundation of Matrix Legacy Inc. on, was the idea that once you get your mind in the right place, all the wealth that you're looking for, whether it be in your relationships, in your health, in your bank account, all of that stuff happens once you take care of yourself and what's happening right here in between your two ears. And so we really wanted to get into wealth coaching to be able to set up a foundation for people where they can walk through and understand the basics of money, you know, managing your expenses, increasing your revenue, growing your savings, things like that. And then going through it, we were realizing, you know what? People are really just looking for mentorship kind of on a high level. They still want those basics, but they just want somebody to guide them along the way. They don't necessarily know where they're going yet, but they still need little pieces to keep going blindly, basically, or walking in faith. And so what we wanted to do is to create a place where people can just come and get all the information that they need and apply it to their own situation. And so this is where we get into Matrix Legacy Academy and our app and all of these things, all of these tools where people can come and take what they need to build their own legacy. And so that's kind of how everything really like fell together for us.
Love it, love it. Before I continue, I want to shout out to the people watching. Melanie, Jennifer Doyle, hey girl. Hi Melanie, yes, empowering women. Woo woo. Hello ladies. Emmanuel, Rick, Ilam, Tammy, hey Tammy, Tanya. Tammy says powerful, everything you need to know. You can't learn with a degree. Audrey, hello. I love what you're sharing. And I do want to shout out to you because one of the things that Mr. Nelson teaches us is, let's say you want to go to the gym, you want to start getting in shape. Are you going to ask your neighbor that's never been in a gym, or are you going to ask the trainer that's there every single day, right? You want to ask the trainer. He's going to tell you what to do. Look at his body, right? You guys bought a home at a very young age after both going to school, you know, getting your degrees and now building your businesses. And now you're teaching other people, you're being mentors. So it's so incredible to see. It's amazing. Super inspired. Right?
What I really love about what I do, a lot of us feel like we don't have anything to share, or like we're too afraid, exactly how we were talking about, to come out and talk, because it's like, who am I to speak?
Yeah.
So in our little box, we're looking at it thinking, I haven't gotten to where I'm trying to be, so I don't have anything to share yet. I haven't arrived yet, so I don't have anything to share. Not realizing there's always somebody like a half step behind you trying to figure out how you made that half step. And so that's the whole idea of, especially my podcast, the Building a Legacy podcast. It's as I'm learning, as I'm growing, I'm going to teach you the things that I'm going through currently as I'm learning it, so we can learn together and we can collaborate together and we can just all start moving forward on our own journey at our own pace, whatever that looks like. But it really forces me to every single week think, okay, how can I get better? What can I do more? What can I learn? What value am I going to be able to add to my listeners and to my clients? How can I better myself? And so having the passion behind it makes it so easy to want to go out and find more information. Whereas at work, when you're told to go get more information, you're like, ugh, you're dragging your feet. You don't want to do it. That's not exciting. But the fact that I get to grow and become a better person and just teach people as I'm doing that, I could do that forever. No sleep. And I would be okay with it.
I'm sure people can feel the energy. People can feel the passion. If you doubt, rewatch this, rewatch it on a replay. So let me ask you, what happens when somebody says, well, I don't know what I'm passionate about?
Okay. You know what? I love that because I get that a lot of times.
Yeah.
And people get caught in that phrase of, I'm finding myself. It's like, okay, well, what are you doing to find yourself, right? When you lose something, well, how do you find it? You go looking for it, right? So if you're in a position where you can't find yourself or you can't find that passion, you just have to keep throwing yourself into things until you find the one that sticks. I did absolutely everything. I took belly dancing classes in university. I took cooking classes. I worked at a restaurant where I was first the hostess, then the server, then the cook in the kitchen, because I wanted to learn all the different aspects of the business. And I wanted to see, like, what do I like? And so after doing those things a little bit, I realized, okay, I like it a little bit, but it's not something I'm jumping out of bed excited to do. So like, let me keep trying. At one point in my life, I thought I was going to be a singer. And then I thought I was going to be a producer. And then I thought I was going to be a dancer. Like all of these things happened, but I was just never afraid to keep throwing myself into unfamiliar situations to see what resonated with me. There is no other way to know what you love unless you actually actively go out and try to find it. It's not going to land in your lap. And I think once we start realizing that, it'll be so much easier for everybody to find their passion. We're all called here for some reason. We all have a message. We all have a gift, but you're not going to be able to find it just watching other people live out theirs. You've got to go figure out, what is that spark for me? And you won't know that unless you try it.
Exactly. Wow. I'm just reading now Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what the author, Robert Kiyosaki, is saying. If you want to try something, just like start new jobs, like just try a random job, just try that skill. At one point, he actually took a selling job, being a shy person, not wanting to be selling things, but he took it because he wanted to develop some skills that he didn't have within him, that he thought he didn't have, right? He wanted to work on those skills. So exactly what you're sharing now. So I absolutely love it. If you haven't read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, really classic. Have you read it?
It's crazy that you say that. That was the first personal development book I ever read. And I read it shortly after I met Mr. Byron Nelson. And my mind was absolutely blown. And from that day, girl, like I've been building up my book. In case you can't see, I'm working on my little collection, and I got my audios, and I'm just constantly like consuming now. But it started with that book because it really set the foundation to understand that there's so much more to this life than what we just see on mainstream, or what people talk about all the time, or what our friends talk about, because our friends only know what we know for the most part, until we start reaching into those other groups of people who can really teach and stretch our minds. But everything that we need is literally in books, and Rich Dad, Poor Dad just like blew the doors off for me, for sure.
And I love how it's written, like at the end of every chapter, where you have like the recap and then you have the exercises. I just love it. I absolutely love it. And I was just speaking to one of our other mentors, Mr. Joel Martin. Shout out to you. He's actually this year, so 2020, at his 29th book.
Wow.
And I'm just like, wow. So imagine all that information that he's putting in his mind. Like,
that's a whole nother part of finding your passion as well. It's like, what are you downloading into your mind? Because if you're constantly watching, I used to have a whole bunch of like drama pages, and like this person's dating this person and this person's feuding with this person. I used to have that stuff all over my timeline. But then I realized the more I paid attention to that stuff, the more it would actually show up in my life. And it's because that's what I was focusing on, and that's what I was conditioning my mind to notice. Whereas when I started reading, and I'm constantly reading audio, I don't even really listen to music that much anymore, because I'd rather be listening to a podcast. I'd rather be downloading something new, something that's going to train my brain to start spotting opportunities and to start spotting the positive things in life, and to increase my gratitude in this world. That is what I'm looking for. And so if you're trying to find your passion and you're finding yourself really stuck, well, pay attention to what you're downloading, because whatever you're downloading is what's going to show up for you. That's what you're going to be able to spot and see in your real life. So be very careful about what's going on. The download is important.
Right? This is your garden. So do you choose to water it and, add sun to it? Or do you not do anything if the garden's not going to be well maintained, right? I want you to share a little bit more about leaving your job, because I know you talked about it, but to me, I think it's such a powerful subject, and it's such a powerful move that you did. And I know a lot of people, like I said before, want, or maybe in that space, and, I don't know what I'm passionate about, or I don't have time to find out what I'm passionate about, and then I'm too scared, right?
Absolutely. And so I had all of those things.
Right.
And it always goes back to that 2.5 years ago, because that's literally when everything started.
Yeah.
When my mind started expanding. From that point forward, I was doing a lot of work on myself. I was going to a lot of personal development events. I was reading a lot of books, learning new skills, really just brushing up on who I am as a person. And so all of this time, my vision is expanding and it's getting bigger. And that's when I started getting restless in my job, realizing, wait a minute, this isn't for me. There's so much more. There's so much more. And so I kept having those thoughts like, okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to lead? What can I do? What can I do? But what was happening is I was spending all of my best energy at work and trying to squeeze in the things that I really loved on the side. And I knew that I needed a better income to live the lifestyle that I had a decent income, but it wasn't enough to do the things that I wanted to do. I could take care of me, but I couldn't take care of my mom. And my mom's got fibromyalgia. I don't want her to have to work anymore. And so I was looking for ways to create income faster. I had asked my boss at work, what can I do to receive a raise? You're telling me what a great job I'm doing. You're saying I'm such a fantastic addition to the team. Look at the numbers. This is how much I've brought in. What do you need to see for me to get a raise? His answer to me, and this was back in December, his answer to me was, you know, you just have to wait. Every year we do a review and then you'll get anywhere from a 3 to 5% raise. And I was like, okay, but what if I can produce enough value to warrant like a 10% raise? Is that an option? He's like, unfortunately not. You got to, it's just a timing thing. So then that's when I realized, wait a minute. So I'm not getting paid for my value here. It doesn't matter how valuable I become. I am tied to an hourly rate. It doesn't matter what I bring. I'm stuck here. And that, I don't know what happened to me, but I just became like disgusted. I was like, is this really, this is what I, really? Because in my side business, the more valuable that I became, the more my check was increasing. So I was like, this is just not making sense. So I wrote it on my calendar. June the 8th, I'm leaving my job. I didn't know how the heck I was going to do it, but I wrote it down. I read in Think and Grow Rich that if you don't write it down, it's not going to happen. So
and when did you write that down? Like how many months before?
It was like December. So when I made my vision board for this year, like maybe December 27th of last year.
Wow.
I wrote it down June. I don't know what was so special about June the 8th, but I decided June the 8th.
We're July 8th today. Love it.
Yes. So I actually handed in my resignation letter at the end of May. Still, so here's the thing. I had a plan because I had invested all of this stuff in myself. I knew what I was going to do. I didn't necessarily have everything in place yet, but I like the little analogy. Like I jumped out of the plane and we're working on opening the parachute right now. It's happening right now.
It's been open, but we don't know exactly when.
Yeah. So I handed in my resignation letter and I was like, it was sad because it was a great job. It's nothing that my job did. Fantastic opportunity, great people. It just was not where I belonged. And so I was crying. I was sad. My boss was crying. Like, what do you mean you're leaving? You know? But it was just something that needed to happen. And it could only happen because I believed enough in myself that there were no other options. I had to cut off that cushion in order to really bring out the value that I know that I have. And since then, I don't even have words to explain all of the abundance that has been like rushing through the door, all of the connections I'm able to make, the business opportunities that are presenting themselves to me, the collaborations that I've had, just absolutely out of this world. And it's all because I decided to just step out of the comfort zone and just see what I'm made of. And when you cut off all other options, there's no other option but to succeed. You will find a way to make it happen. You won't let yourself fail. I got a house, I got a roof to keep over my head. I got a husband, I've got family depending on me. Like, you will find a way to make it happen. You just have to trust yourself enough and believe in yourself enough and know that you've invested in yourself enough to make it happen. I would not advise to just walk away from your job if you haven't yet done the work on yourself. I've put thousands of dollars into personal development, hundreds of hours.
Yes.
So in training for this. And so now is when I really get to see what I'm made of. And I'm impressed by myself. Not to toot my own horn, but I didn't know I was capable of the things that I've been doing, you know?
And this is just the beginning. As I've been watching you for like 2.5 years that we've known each other, like the growth is incredible. But like you said, once you quit that job and you let go of that cushion, there's just this curve of growth that happened. And I'm so proud of you. This is just the beginning. You guys are going to create an incredible international, abundant business worldwide. You're going to transform lives. I know many, many, many lives. So I'm so excited for both of you. Now, a little shout out to the people that are watching. Jennifer's still there. Powerful Decisions, of course. Saida from France, she's watching. Hello. Sylvie Ploud. Hey, how are you, girl? Thank you all for watching. And we have the magic 7 number. I love it. So now we talked about people maybe not knowing what they're passionate about. So what if somebody knows that they are passionate about something, but they don't know how to transform it into profit?
So a lot of that has to do with your environment. And what I mean by that is you have to surround yourself and make sure that you're only taking advice from people who have done the things that you're looking to do. A lot of times we think we find our passion and then we go and try to tell our friends about it, and then they'll shoot it down because they don't see it. They don't understand it because they've never done it, right? If I want to write a book, I can't ask my sister who's never even, or like a friend who's never even really read a book, how to write a book if they've never done it. I would come to somebody like yourself who is a best-selling author who can teach me, okay, this is what you're going to do. Here's a roadblock that you're going to run into, and here's the steps that you're going to need to take.
True.
And so mentorship is a major part of that. And mentorship does not just have to come in the form of a human. You can hop on YouTube and find a mentor. You can crack open a book and find a mentor. You can literally, you will find it once you make the decision that it has to happen. But you have to really protect yourself and your energy from the people who are going to come and give you their opinion. And you have to realize that it's just that. It's their opinion. They might be thinking that they're trying to protect you from something, but at the end of the day, they're only protecting you from their fears, not yours. And so in order to turn your passion into there's so many resources in order to figure that out. But regardless of the resources, if you don't take care of that fundamental part of protecting your energy and protecting your environment, all of the resources in the world will do nothing for you. So for example, as a wealth coach, if I sit down with a client and I give them a budget tracker, a net worth tracker, we start, looking back on their journey up until this point, and we have a every cent, whatever. I can give you all the trackers in the world.
Yes.
You haven't set the foundation for yourself, and you're not in the right mindset to say, I'm going to do this. And you have people around you saying, hey, let's go to this party. Hey, let's go out for dinner. Oh, let's buy those new shoes, that new purse, that new whatever. All of the tools in the world are never going to get you to where you're trying to get. So protecting your energy, making sure you're in the right environment, seeking out mentorship from people who have already done it. That is the way that you're able to monetize. You can monetize absolutely anything on the face of this earth. I promise you. Look how popular slime got. Do you have little around? Yeah, you do. Absolutely.
I hate it.
Slime. Who would have thought slime would be a multi-million-dollar business? But
right?
They had a passion for it, and they made it. You can make money doing absolutely anything. And if there's somebody who tells you that you can't do it, that's just because they haven't done it. But you have to go find somebody who's already done it. They will show you the way, or they might. Depending on who it is, right? You gotta. It depends on how you
pick the right ones.
Pick the right ones. Exactly. As long as you're the right person, you're gonna attract the right mentorship. So that's just kind of how you have to look at it.
And I want to add on that. Yeah. Coachable, right? It's you have a foundation. You're laying a foundation. I'm doing this, and then I have a mentor, mentors. Are you willing to be coachable? Are you willing to listen to what they tell you to do? Right?
Exactly. And even in that, once you get a mentor, you're going to realize you're going to try things and you're going to fail. And I was listening to, we were just talking about this. There's a book called Go for No. And in that book, they're talking about like the most successful people in the world are also the biggest failures. And what that means is they run headfirst into failure. They seek it out. They're excited about it. They're more so interested in how many ways can I get wrong so that I can perfect that single way that's going to, be my ticket to the other side. And so focusing on expecting failures and running towards them, you will start learning all kinds of things that you never knew. You're going to start learning a million different ways that it doesn't work. But every time you learn a way that it doesn't work, you take a little pivot, and now you're right on track to where you're supposed to get to. And eventually you start putting the little pieces together and you find your way across the finish line before you even realize it, because you were focused on not just the wins, but how many times can I fail my way to success?
Right. Oh my God, I love that. I love that. Let's see. Oh, Sylvie says, congratulations. Reach out for your dreams. Need to jump off. Lydia, my stepmom is watching. Hi, stepmom. This is amazing. Thank you all for watching. This is incredible conversation. Listen, like we could talk about it for another hour. It's just like so powerful. We, talking about passion, talking about mentorship, talking about being coachable, having that fear and jumping anyway. And I wanted to share another analogy about a plane. When the plane takes off, it literally uses 50% of its fuel, right? So you making that decision of quitting the job was like almost 50% of your fuel. And then like, okay, I'm doing this, right? It's just incredible. And you guys are up to such incredible things. Let me hear do you want to share a bit more about your Matrix Legacy business, what you guys are up to, your wealth coaching? Like this is like, I got the private coaching, but I want other people to know about what you guys are doing.
So the whole idea is we just want to empower people through financial literacy, understanding how money works. But in order to get to the how money works, you got to understand who you are and how you're showing up in the world, because you're not going to make a whole lot of money if you're not a whole lot of good person,
Yeah.
So we got to do those things in line. And so we've just been really we've been playing with a few things to see what's the best way to help educate people and sort that out. So we launched the Matrix Legacy app, which is a place where you can go. We've got our podcasts on there. We've got definitions of terms that we should just know in basic financial conversations. Like if you're going in to speak to a financial advisor and you need some quick notes on, okay, what the heck did he just say to me? What does that word mean? How do I understand the process of how credit works or how credit cards work? Little things like that. All of those resources are there on the app. And then beyond that, we have our wealth coaching, where we can do one-on-one coaching with our clients. But what we've realized through that is people still need assistance after that 6-week program is complete. So what we decided to launch is the Matrix Legacy Academy. And so we're in the pre-launch phase. We've already got our first few signups, which is very exciting. And we are going to launch on the first week of August. And what it is, it's just a platform where we're going to do weekly live Q&As, monthly masterclasses, where we'll bring in business professionals from different areas and wealth coaches from different areas. We're going to have a ton of resources in there. So it's a space for aspiring entrepreneurs, side hustlers, big dreamers who are just like, I need some help. I don't know exactly what I need help in, or I do know exactly what I need help in, and it's just one question, but there's so much information out there. I need it all in one space. And so that's essentially what the platform is. So people can really just come and get that mentorship without having any other strings attached. It's really just like a monthly membership program that we've got going on. And really our vision overall is just, as soon as you understand that wealth is a mindset, then you start living a wealthy life. Mm-hmm. And that's what we want. Because we realized, and just going back to my parents for a second, they're the reason why all of this even came about in the first place. Because as I said, great people, great work ethic, but somehow the finances just wouldn't show up. All that was really missing was information and a belief in themselves. So once we put those two things together, it's lights out. And I know this because we went, and you were saying about my husband and I being homeowners.
Yes.
We went and we purchased our house at 23. My parents were like, wait a minute, I've been renting my whole life. How did my children just buy a house? So
23. Like not 33, 23. Like.
So we give them the information, and now they have the belief in themselves that they could do it because they've seen us do it. And obviously we're breathing life into them and letting them know that they can as well. In 4 months after renting their entire lives, they become homeowners. And so that is why we built this platform, because we're realizing it's the information and it's the belief. As soon as we can fit those two things together, anything that you want can happen literally literally overnight if you're willing to work on it. And so this, I mean, I could go on forever about it. I'm just
Oh my God. I have shivers my whole body because I'm so inspired. And I hope people are watching are so inspired because you're touching on something so important where mentorship can come into play in your life to install that belief. And that's exactly what happened to me. I was this little girl with big dreams. I just didn't know my next steps. I didn't know how to get there. I just didn't know what to do. And I met our mentor, and he installed that belief in me that it can be possible. And here are some tools. Here are some ideas. Here's what I've done, right? And I was coachable at the time, and I'm still very coachable. But installing that belief because of that mentorship is like, right, life-changing. So you guys provided mentorship to your parents where you install that belief that it is possible. Look, we've done it. We believe in you that you can do it too. So powerful. I love this. Oh my God.
We're all literally called here for a reason, but we have to believe that we can live out that reason. Because I could have just looked at that and said, okay, cool, we helped them, that's great. But I was like, there's something more to that. There's something more. And so we were able to pull it out. And then here you go with Matrix Legacy Inc. So
I'm so excited for this academy. Oh my God. Like if I had seen this 2 years ago, that's exactly what I needed. Like I'm super excited. Like I said, you guys are going to be phenomenal. Let me see if there's Jennifer says explosive. Love it.
She is explosive, Miss Jennifer Doyle. That's another powerhouse.
Right? If people that are watching haven't seen Jennifer Doyle, she was one of my guests a few weeks back, I think, yes, around her birthday. So end of May, third week of May, I think the 26th or something. Go watch that episode. She is a powerhouse. I am like super excited with everything that she's building for herself, for her family, for her legacy. Like this is incredible. And this is, again, what we were talking about, like who do you choose to surround yourself with? Right? Like every time I'm with you and Tyler, I'm like, I have this energy, I get inspired, like we learn, we feed from each other. It's just like incredible, right? So pause for a moment today, whoever's watching or going to be watching, who do you choose to surround with? And it's not about, I was just talking with Joelle about that. It's not about pushing those negative friends aside. It's not. It's just, who do you choose to have those powerful conversations with? You know, be careful, right? And it's what you shared earlier. So I am going to share the 2 quotes that I picked for today. We are going to wrap up in the next few minutes. And then I want to hear from you, last few words about what you want to share with people today. So the 2 quotes that I chose today, this one reminded of you. She knew the power of her mind, and so she programmed it for success.
Oh, that got me. You're going to have to send me that one.
Right? And then if you don't have big dreams and goals, you'll end up working really hard for someone who does, right? Exactly in alignment with our conversation today. So I will leave you to the last few words. What do you want to share today with the people that are going to be watching?
Yeah. So 2 things quick before I hop into my last word. If anybody did want to reach out
yes, please. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. For anything at all, the website is probably the best way to do that. www.buildingalegacy.ca. Or I'm very active on social media, so if you just want to slide in the DMs, you could do that. And
yes,
there.
I'm so sorry. I completely forgot that part. You see, we're not perfect doing this. Thank God she's on the ball. So how to reach her? There's many ways. Instagram. Go follow her podcast. You're on YouTube, right?
I am on YouTube. I'm on YouTube and any platform that Spotify, Apple, all of that stuff. The Legacy Podcast. And I love the fact that you just said we're human, because that's really what I wanted to leave with everybody is the fact that you might be sitting there and watching somebody like Jessica really prosper, or hearing a story like mine and thinking, oh my gosh, she's got something that I don't have. And that is not true at all. We both feel the fears. We both feel those doubts. I did a whole episode on my podcast about imposter syndrome, where you get into a situation and you're like, do I belong here? Is this really me? Can I actually do this? And what we have to realize is all of these successful people that we see, they're going through the same thing. The only difference between that successful person and where you are is that person felt the fear and they did it anyways. Leaving my job was the absolute scariest thing I have ever done in my life, but also the absolute greatest decision I ever made in my life. And because that was a decision that I made for myself, because I had the faith in myself, and because I trusted myself. But don't get it twisted for 1 second. I was terrified. And so what I need whoever's listening to this to really take away is, do not look at somebody as if they're in a different, or they've got some special sauce or magic juice or something that you don't have. Everything that you need is inside of you. You just have to trust yourself enough to pull it out and run with it. That's all I got.
Oh, speechless. I don't know what else to say. It's amazing. Always such a pleasure spending time with you. Such an honor for you saying yes to be on the show today. So inspired by you. Please go follow her podcast. They are up to big things, the website, everything that she shared. I will be live again next Wednesday, every Wednesday, Women Empowerment Wednesday, 3 p.m., Facebook Live with a special guest every week. Remember this movement about having these conversations that are empowering, touching, and inspiring, and having those conversations that we talked about today, bring them into your own personal lives with your friends, your family, your mentors. Get mentors. I think that's my message for today. Right?
One last and final point.
Yes.
I know I said it in the beginning, but I am so grateful for you for putting on a platform like this. And I think just the final point is that once you realize that it's not about you, then the universe starts sending everything to you, because you're not doing it for you anymore. You're doing it for something bigger. And so once you got out of your own way and said, this isn't for me, somebody needs to hear a empowered woman, somebody needs to hear some happiness today, somebody needs some inspiration, and it's not about me anymore. So that fear doesn't even matter, because now it's bigger than me. And so I just want to acknowledge the fact that you stepped out and stepped into your own fear to make it such a giant platform for other women who just need that little piece of something to get them to the next level. So thank you so much. I'm absolutely honored to be on this platform, and I just love you so much. Thank you.
I love you. Thank you. What a fun episode, like every time. So we're gonna wrap this up. Thank you for all that are watching live. Comment in the video if you were watching live. Comment what was your biggest takeaway, what you want to hear in the next few weeks as far as topics. I want to be inspired. And then join my group. I have a private, it's called Women Empowerment by Jessica DSB. So follow, go add and be part of my group. I am sharing the quotes and I'm sharing the videos there, so you can find all the videos from the previous weeks on there. Thank you again, Miss Alicia Grant. Happy birthday to Tyler again. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and we'll see you all next week. Bye.
If you have enjoyed today's episode, please share with the people that you love and care about. Jessica DSB.